मुझे लगता है कि हम मिडिल क्लास वाले हैं ना, सेल्फ अश्योरेंस बड़ा कम होता है, सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस बहुत कम होता है. वी आर constantly relying on validation. Even now, even when I know that this is not correct and I'm relying on validation, I do.
Well, hello and welcome to yet another episode of Clarity Amidst Clutter. I am Sriya Kundu here from CNN News 18, and we are back with another very intriguing, interesting conversation, a dialogue regarding a rather socially trending topic right now, a phenomena that has been affecting us for quite some time now, and we're all a part of it. And to speak with me on this topic, I have a very, very special guest joining me. And I'll actually give him time to introduce himself because I'll just take the name, but I think nothing I can say does justice to the kind of man he is, to the kind of actor he is. And so, welcome, Abhilash Thapliyal.
Hi, Shreya. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm good. How are you doing?
All well. बस गर्मी में पंखा चला के बैठे हुए हैं यार. So hot in Mumbai right now.
I know. The weather is so tricky. Are you in Bombay right now?
Yes. I came back yesterday. I was shooting in Delhi. I'm again going back to Delhi in a couple of days.
Yeah,
so it's a lot of
Delhi, the weather
Mumbai
has
happening.
been trickier, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, but much better than Mumbai because
Really?
it's cooler there. Yeah, it's cooler there. It's very hot in Mumbai. I don't know. It never happens. Usually you always complain that Delhi is very hot and Delhi is very unbearable. But today I think something is off with Mumbai.
I mean, yeah, they keep talking about climate change for a reason, and it's catching up with us.
हाँ, मुझे लग रहा है कि मैं मुंबई में था नहीं था, तो मुंबई को थोड़ा सा बुरा लगा कि oh God, where is Abhilash?
That is possible. That is possible, highly possible. So Mumbai is glad to have you back for sure. And well, speaking about Abhilash, I think it goes without saying a little bit about you. You've worked as an RJ, a radio jockey, for various channels, and then you moved to with TVF, and now you're an actor in Bollywood. You've been doing Bollywood
before that,
movies.
actually, I made my Bollywood debut long time back. I signed my first film in 2016. So TVF actually happened much later. Yeah. But I mean, I think people have recognized me as an actor after Aspirants. So yeah, that's also my milestone.
I mean, you've had roles in between for sure. We used to see you there, here and there for various series, and there are movies that you have done other than Aspirants as well. But Aspirants turned out to be a key changing, like it's a milestone in your career. Would you say that?
Absolutely. Undoubtedly. I think I was doing radio, then I started doing television. I was doing mostly non-fiction television for Colors. Then I was with Sony for a bit. And radio was happening parallelly. In fact, radio's right now as we speak, I'm preparing for my radio show in the evening. So I do that every day for 4 hours. Wherever I'm traveling, whether I'm shooting, I'm with my family, I make sure that I take out those 4 hours for my audience. So that's still happening. But yeah, I think with Aspirants, people have started taking me as a serious actor. Before that, I was primarily known as fun banda, hero ka dost, a comic element in a movie. But now, after SK Sir ki class, which is completely based on this character SK Sir, and then Fadu happened and Blur happened with Tapsi. So I think the perception has changed for sure after Aspirants.
Right. I mean, you went bang into the topic. Like I was saying, the topic for the day is where we're talking about OTT content, right? And so, I mean, you yourself said that Aspirants has given you a particular platform where people started recognizing you as the protagonist, right? You're just out there, you've been playing SK Sir, and it's become a show about
protagonist से भी ज़्यादा मुझे तो serious actor, मतलब protagonist तो बहुत ही later stage है. I never wanted to. In fact, even now I have no, aspirations of becoming a lead. But I think as what Aspirants did was it showed me in a light where people have started seeing me as a serious actor. You can be a protagonist but not a very good actor. That's also the case with a lot of heroes, so to speak. But this has started after that, and I also I followed it up with a Blur with a Fado, with a SK Sarki class. So that also changed and strengthened the very fact that हाँ सही acting कर लेता है, range है. So I think that happened because of after aspirants, in fact, when Blur came, people started seeing हाँ यार एक antagonist का
Right.
part भी play कर सकता है. In Fado,
Hmm.
it was a drunkard, an addict. So
Hmm.
the characters
Hmm.
I got were very different from each other, because after aspirants, I think it happens with all the actors. I started getting a lot of these simpleton Bihar ka ladka, that sort of characters, which I cautiously, I chose not to be a part of those projects, because then you are just again, एक तो पहले ही आपको हीरो का दोस्त समझ रहे थे, अभी फिर आपको एक स्पेस में
वो
डालना
एक
शुरू कर
इमेज
दिया.
बन जाती है वहां पे.
वो
It
वो
just
बहुत ही, हाँ, और बहुत जल्दी बनती है, मतलब
right.
हमारे इंडस्ट्री में तो बहुत
हाँ.
जल्दी बनती है. स्टीरियोटाइप होना बहुत आसान है. बहुत सारे
Right.
एक्टर्स हैं जो स्टीरियोटाइप हो जाते हैं और फिर वही वो करते चले जाते हैं.
Right.
Also, I think because of radio gives me that financial freedom to say no to a lot of things, because I don't
Right.
rely on movies and OTT platforms for my bread and butter. So
Right.
that gives me a lot of confidence to say no to a lot of things.
Right.
And yeah, it's working my way too.
That's great. I mean, honestly, it's been a roller coaster of a journey for you when we look at it. Like radio, then, like I said, then you did have a venture in Bollywood, then you came back to OTT, and then now you're back in Bollywood, and you're juggling multiple roles around. Firstly, that, and secondly, I'll come to that actually later about you juggling multiple roles right now. But when we are on this topic already about OTT, so TVF as a platform, like as a channel on YouTube, it was one of the very few YouTube channels that had started producing these mini series. And that's how it
Right.
got popular, right? And the content of these mini series are such that they try making much more relatable content than what the Bollywood movies had to offer back then. Like Bollywood always has that plot line of a hero and a heroine, and either it's an action
Not really,
film or it's a
not all,
rom-com.
not all. I wouldn't completely
Not
agree to
all, not
with
all.
that. Yeah, but
Absolutely.
primarily yes. The formula was that of
Right,
masala film,
right.
a hero, heroine, a hero ka ek funny dost, heroine ki ek
Ha,
dost, a
wahi,
villain. Yeah,
exactly.
the premise was primarily that, but I still think that you always had gangs of Wasseypur. You
Yes,
always
yes,
had,
yes.
you had those films. It's just that we never focused on them. We were always talking about a huge bulky guy as, you always saw him as a hero.
Right.
You always saw a charmer as a hero. But there were films
Exactly.
like these, there were a lot of films which came in early 2000s, and till now, यार मुझे लगता है कि we always had these different genres. It's just that we have always focused on these the formula
Right.
films.
Right. So when I was talking about TVF being one of these platforms, being one of these channels which had started pushing out mini series of this sort, making relatable content, I think you're very right when you say that there were always these movies in between that used to come up which did not follow the formula. But Abhilash, do you think that after these OTT platforms started taking over, or for that matter, even these mini series on YouTube started taking over and people started paying attention to content there, is what, I wouldn't say alarmed Bollywood, but gave Bollywood the idea that, it's time to step out of that formula. You need to start, changing with times, changing your content, making plot the king, and not just depending on your actors and actresses to make a super hit.
But Shreya, for how long? We have been here for, the OTT has been there for what, 4 or 5 years now?
Right.
They are going the same way now.
Right.
What's the difference?
I mean,
where is the
you're
difference?
saying OTT is following Bollywood's formula or the other way around?
Absolutely, it is. Now you have
Okay.
initially you had web shows where these good actors were a part of the story. Now again you have the standard typical Bollywood actors playing the leads. Where is the difference now? It's the same. Initially it was different, I think,
Right.
because the commerce was not involved, and they really wanted to create content which will get them viewers and subscribers, and it was working fine for them.
Right.
I think even now there are stories. I'm a part of a lot of stories where the lead is not a A-lister or a known
Right.
hero,
Right.
but it has started happening again on OTTs as well. You look at their
Right.
web shows, you look at their the films that are coming. they are following the same formula. But yes, initially when it started, you had a lot of genres, you had a lot of stories coming out, you had
Yes.
drama, you had crime, you had docudramas, you have had documentaries. So that way is yes, and even now they're doing it. I'm not discarding OTTs at all, but I'm saying they've started following the same formula now.
Right.
Their strength was that there was never a pressure of cracking 100 CR number or 200 CR. That was their strength. They
Now
were
it's
telling
become
stories for the
a
heck of
it's become a race
stories.
again.
Yeah,
Right.
it is again the same thing कि भैया अच्छा ये वाला हीरो की आ रही है क्या, अच्छा इस हीरो का ले लिया है क्या. And even in terms of commerce, where you are making one story for say an 8 crore budget, now you are expanding it to a 40-60 crore because you're bringing a star. um, you're just getting a star to be a part of that story. So it's again the same, I think.
Right. And so when you say that, I think that's a very important point you have flagged and highlighted here. When you say that, I mean, OTT has always been known for this one particular factor, which is the very actors that they pushed forward. There's a lot of talent that was given a lot more focus on than just big names, at least initially. Like you just mentioned, big names talent was recognized way more than just being a star name. So then what used to happen is these new actors who were very, very talented, like yourself also for that matter, you guys all got a platform to explore, and you were not now known to the world because that's how you made your entry here. That's how your entire image got built, that yes, this person is very talented, he's come out to be such a great actor. But now that you say that OTT has also started using the same formula as Bollywood, do you think that's going to hamper that entire the opportunity that used to get built for new actors to come and showcase their talents?
I think even now, when the only the lead parts are where they focus on stars.
Right.
Even in movies, if you see, the ensemble is always a very strong cast. You'd always say, यार इसने खराब acting की hero ने, लेकिन जो आसपास के थे ना वो बड़े कमाल थे. And that has been the formula from the very start. They've been very smart with their ensemble cast. If your lead cannot emote, your lead cannot, he can just bring in or she can just bring in numbers or audience. You always had this very strong ensemble cast to back your story. क्योंकि परफॉर्मेंस के बिना तो आपकी कहानी नहीं चलेगी, वो तो सबको पता है.
बिल्कुल.
So even now it's happening that ensemble is very strong always. Even if you have a not so strong lead, not such a good actor as a lead, you always have a very strong ensemble cast. What initially was happening, you were creating heroes from OTT. OTT was churning out heroes. That has clearly stopped. That's not happening anymore. Now all the big budget or the big ticket shows and features, they have your standard heroes, which is not happening initially. So yes, of course, that is clearly something which is visible now. Initially, I don't think a lot of actors said that we don't want to be part of OTT platforms, we don't want to be part of OTT stories. A lot of statements had come back then.
Why do you think that is, given that OTT has actually become so popular? Why do you think that is?
I think the superiority complex, it has always been like that.
Of being in an industry.
Yeah, of being a film star. And we all aspire that. We all are here. If you want to be a part of the story, primarily it's because of the films that we have seen. But the scenario has changed. You see a lot of OTT faces going on and becoming the leads in a lot of films. So that has also started happening now. And similarly, vice versa is also happening. You have a lot of film actors coming and doing OTT shows. It has revived a lot of careers, I think, of yesteryear actors, who were nowhere. I think we had completely forgotten them. And now they are back and they're charming us like how. So yeah, I think the ensemble cast will still remain. It has remained like that even in films. You always had a very strong ensemble cast when you cannot rely on your lead. तो सब स्टार नहीं हो सकते, एक ही हीरो होता है, वो एक स्टार is primarily a Bollywood hero now.
Right. But if I were to ask you this question, like just personally to you, that now that you've seen both the sides of it, OTT as well as Bollywood, and you have already had a particular journey. But do you think now, and now that you're saying also for that matter, that everybody at some point aspires to be a part of that, the industry, the main industry, and not just an OTT. But now, having been on both sides, you've also seen the power that OTT holds over their audience. There's a particular fan base, that completely different kind of fan base that gets created, and that is simply because the ease of access. Like if we look at it now, if we have to go and watch a movie in the movie theater, it's an entire experience. Ticket kharido fir jao and all of that. And especially after pandemic, it's become a massive like thing now. It's an activity in itself, right? But abhi OTT mein kya ho gaya? It's just a part of the. It's a part of your life. You're working, you can watch a show while you're working simultaneously. It's become there, like it's become an order of the day for you. Like you're constantly watching something or the other. And कुछ पसंद आ गया तो वो you retain that कि अच्छा yes, this actor had performed very well. So personally, if I were to ask you, do you think you would have done anything differently? Would you have started, you would have wanted to start like with a character like SK sir instead of it being an OTT platform launch? Do you think you would have preferred it to be a Bollywood, like a movie launch, or are you actually happy with the fact that you started with aspirants on an OTT platform?
Shreya, I think you need to ask this question as an actor. Why are you part of a story? Is it because you want a certain fan base, certain numbers on your social media, or you want to be a part of a good story?
Good story.
If you want to be a part of a good story, the platform doesn't matter. I think had SK sir come on television, I would have done that too.
Right.
It's just that it came on YouTube. Had it come on any other platform, I would have done that even then. That is the most important question as an actor. I ask myself whether I am doing this story for paisa, whether I'm doing this story for the story it is, or the character that I'm being offered. So if you are clear in your head, the platform doesn't matter. If I was a part of Raksha Bandhan, and
Yes.
not a lot of people know about it because not a lot of people saw Raksha Bandhan. So it doesn't matter if you are a part of a big film. My first film, no one remembers that film. No one knows that I was a part of that film. I started my career as a Bollywood guy. I was on the poster. The hoardings were everywhere, but no one remembered that film. So it doesn't matter whether you are part of a Bollywood film, an OTT show, an OTT film, or a television serial. As long as the story works, your character works. As long as the story works, your numbers will grow. You will be known.
Content
People
is
will
king.
talk about it. Content is the king. Content has been the king from the very start. And as an actor, if you're aware about it, तो फिर choices लेना और decision making बड़ा आसान हो जाता है. तो मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि एसके सर की क्लास या एस्पिरेंट्स फिल्म्स में आए, थिएटर में आए, या फिर टीवी पर आए, या फिर ओटीटी पर आए. You had such big, major flops recently. They were big budget films backed by big stars, big production houses, big directors. But if the story doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's as simple as that.
Right. And would you like to share an anecdote from your life, like given that the journey that you have, like I was saying that I'm going to come back to this, circle back to the fact that you are still juggling roles and doing it like such a pro for sure. I mean, would you want to give an anecdote which helped provide you clarity about the fact that नहीं ये shift करना है अभी, like the very fact that RJ से अभी मेरे को acting करनी है?
Yeah, I used to do there was one platform, Stars in the City. It was Hindustan Times ka platform where actors would come and they were interviewed by the editor Sonal Kalra. Right. And I used to just do a small gig there. Okay. A 4 or 5 minute. And that's how I started my career. The visual career, so to speak. And that's where I got my first Bollywood break as well, where Amit Sharma said that, Aaja yaar, Mumbai aaja. Manoj Bajpayee and Amit Sharma. And that's how I decided to move to Mumbai. Right. So, मुझे लगता है कि हम मिडिल क्लास वाले हैं ना, सेल्फ assurance बड़ा कम होता है, self confidence बहुत कम होता है. We are constantly relying on validation. Even now, even when I know that this is not correct and I'm relying on validation, I do. For me, I still remember. Sorry?
It's human nature, little bit of it.
It's more of for me, it has been the middle class mentality where you're
Right.
always trying to please people, and वो क्योंकि यार जो struggle है वो बहुत basic है, रोटी और घर का struggle है सबसे पहला. तो उसके लिए you have to please people. नौकरी में you have to please people क्योंकि ताकि appraisal मिले, ताकि कुछ पैसा आ सके, ताकि
बिल्कुल.
कुछ ऐसी चीजें पूरी हो सके. So the circle it's a vicious circle, and to get out of, even when you are aware of it, you can't get out of it. So I still remember Anurag Kashyap had seen Blur, and he said, "क्या सही काम किया तूने?" And I just couldn't believe it. I was like, "पक्का सर मैंने ठीक किया है ना?" बोलता है, "अबे तू चुप हो जा, तूने बहुत अच्छा काम किया है." So
Right.
क्योंकि आपको विश्वास ही नहीं है, you are
कि आप वो कर
constantly,
रहे हो.
हाँ, मतलब आप श्योर नहीं हो, आपने कर दिया है, बट आप श्योर नहीं हो. इवन व्हेन एसके सर की क्लास नाउ बिकेम so popular and people started comparing it with aspirants, and they were like, यार ये
Did
aspirants
you
level का
actually
show बन
think
गया.
of it when SK sir, when you were acting, like when you were in that project, did you actually think it's gonna become such a big thing?
No, you don't, and I think that's the beauty of it, and you shouldn't.
Right.
Whenever I've thought कि ये तो कुछ बड़ा बनने वाला है, उसका कुछ नहीं हुआ है.
कुछ नहीं होता है. That is true.
जहाँ
That's
मैंने,
something I
हाँ,
actually
जहाँ मैंने
follow in my
conviction,
life as well. नहीं होता है हमेशा. It's like you
right.
can't find it in your head. It'll
Yeah.
put it in your
But I
efforts
think
for
that's
sure.
that's a learning. That's a learning. When my first film came, I was like, अरे कुछ तो होने वाला है, कुछ बहुत बड़ा होने वाला है. देखो अभी पूरी इंडस्ट्री देखेगी, बोलेगी ये लड़का ये कुछ कर देगा. Nothing
I mean,
happened.
करके तो दिखा दिया. It's okay. It takes a few years sometimes, but दिखा दिया है.
Yeah, but I'm saying when you're playing that part, when you're part of that project, you always think कि यार इसमें कुछ है ना कमाल होने वाला है. That also drives you. During SK sir and SK sir की class वैसा नहीं हुआ क्योंकि just ठीक है, करते हैं, देखते हैं क्या है क्या नहीं है. I love the story. I love the treatment. But वही था कि इसको देखेगा कौन, कहाँ देखेंगे लोग, कहाँ जाएगा. मैं प्लेटफॉर्म भी नहीं पता था जब एस्पिरेंट्स आ रहा था. And suddenly, because I think I'm a lockdown star. During lockdown, people started. हाँ, उस टाइम में बड़ा अजीब लगता था यार, क्योंकि 2021 when it got released, हम लोग कहीं दिल्ली विल्ली जाते थे तो मास्क लगा के जाते थे. I was like, अरे अब तो लोगों ने चेहरा पहचानना शुरू किया है. हटाओ यार मास्क हटवाओ. I think मैं सबसे पहला इंसान था जो बार-बार कहता था मास्क हटाओ यार. अभी मतलब अभी चेहरा दिखना चाहिए.
I agree. I absolutely
Yeah, because you know the impact of your character and where all it has reached. Now you want people to recognize you. That's why you're
For
doing
sure,
all of it,
for
right?
sure.
वरना तो रेडियो कर ही रहे थे ना, जहाँ पे आवाज सुनाई दे रही थी, शक्ल नहीं दिखाई दे रही थी.
चेंज का मतलब ही नहीं बना वहां पे.
बिल्कुल, और क्या मतलब एक्टिंग का मजा सही है, जरा ऑफ कैमरा भी पता लगे कि क्या इम्पैक्ट है. And now it's like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For sure.
During SK sir ki class when we were shooting in old Rajendra Nagar, my car got mobbed. They had to call security. Yeah, they had to call security कि भैया गाड़ी हटाओ, क्योंकि जनता और इतने प्यारे स्टूडेंट्स. They're like, SK sir, one picture, और 100 बच्चे को ये गाड़ी के आसपास आ गए. अब गाड़ी मूव ही नहीं कर पा रही है. तो मतलब ना, then you're like, हाँ ठीक है, अभी कहीं पहुंचा है ये कैरेक्टर, समझ में आ रहा है. उससे पहले आपको समझ में नहीं आता है क्यों.
I mean, yes, for sure. I mean, honestly, now you've spoken about SK sir, and so firstly, SK sir is one of the characters which is closest to your heart that you've played till now. Would you say that?
No.
Which one is?
No. I think Chandar, the character I played in Blur.
Blur is like the character from Blur.
Yes. Because SK sir has an extension of me, I think, somewhere there. That innocence, the way I think, my mannerisms.
It's more relatable for you.
Yes, more relatable and also an extension. Though the character is very different from me, the socio-economic class is very different. The way he behaves to a lot of things is very different. But there is an innate, what you call it, a trait which I also have. But with Blur's Chandar, there is nothing I connect with. That character is. If you watch Blur, you'll understand that the kind of what kind of character
I watched it. Yes.
Yeah. So the kind of character it is, and also the project will be very close to my heart because it was with Tapsi, a very dear friend of mine, and I was playing the antagonist. It was a big thing for me to be a part of such an amazing story. And I think my director Ajay Behel, he got the best out of me. Otherwise, I would have failed miserably playing Chandar, a very dark character, a very layered character. a killer.
It's like a polar opposite of what you are.
पोलर ऑपोजिट मतलब ऐसा इंसान देखा ही नहीं है मैंने लाइफ
देखा ही
में
नहीं है, मतलब जिंदगी में ही नहीं होता
तो
है
या
यहाँ
व्हेन
पे।
यू क्रिएट समथिंग जो आपने
हाँ,
एक्सपीरियंस
not
ही नहीं
just
किया
not
है
relatable to you,
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure, for
and you
sure.
go really
But
you explore your very dark thoughts and you delve into them and which is not very healthy so it was a lot of effort.
absolutely. So even if we take Chandar for that matter, or an SK sir, I mean, Chandar would actually rather be like we both agreed on, वैसा जिंदगी में character मतलब real life में ना ही हो तो better है.
Right,
For sure, we
absolutely,
shouldn't
yes,
have
yes,
such
yes.
characters in real life. But if we talk about an SK sir or even your role in a Raksha Bandhan, no matter how small, how big, what side character, whatever it is, but I've also seen this that uh, OTT platforms, because we were talking about this, OTT platforms have also, or rather, this is a question for you. Do you think it makes you more comfortable and versatile as an actor for you to try out various roles? And especially because OTT has content, पहले क्या होता था, OTT का content used to be more of relatable content. Like it is like shows and series based on day-to-day life. It doesn't have to be like a spectacle like Bollywood has. The formula, the stereotypical formula that Bollywood movies used to follow, most of it, not all of it, majority of it, of making it a spectacle. Mini show, like mini series का वैसा नहीं होता था. It used to be more like, even if it's one episode का कुछ वैसे type का series that's coming out, it's something which used to be way more relatable, and it used to have actors playing much more relatable characters, right? So
Right.
in that particular case, do you think that, how was your experience playing these different kinds of characters? You've literally played, like you said it yourself, you've played side characters, side roles, and from there you've played an SK sir who it ended up to become SK sir's show, and then you've played an antagonist like Chandar's, right? So it's a range of characters. Do you think it helped you to somewhere, like, accept each of these कि हाँ ये भी try करके देख सकते हैं, ये भी try करके देख सकते हैं, which when you start in Bollywood, like you said, एक stereotype बन जाता है कि हाँ ये hero है, ये antagonist है, ये villain का role play करेगा, ये hero का role play करेगा. Usually there is that mentality. So do you think OTT helps bring out the versatile side in an actor, or did
I
it
think
actually help you?
it definitely has helped me but it's a very cautious call you take as an actor. यार मैं trained actor तो हूँ नहीं, मैं हूँ radio jockey. मैं मुंबई आया था कपिल शर्मा शो में एंट्रीज करने के लिए, कैरेक्टर्स प्ले करने के लिए.
I mean,
So
it's
that's
always
who
a
I am.
journey. It's always a
Yeah,
journey.
but that's who I am. I've not forgotten
Right.
that. So if now I start talking about performances and stuff, it'll sound
Of course.
weird because that's not who I am. I'm just
Right.
playing all the parts I'm getting
Right.
in my however the directors and the casting guys see me. And I'm glad that they see me as a versatile actor. They see
I
me
mean,
as
you're a
someone who
natural.
can.
Come on, you just did that transition.
No, of course, yeah, no. No, but I'm saying, when you talk about nuances of a character, for instance, Roxy, which I played in Fadu, an addict. I don't even drink. I don't smoke. So playing an addict, was challenging for me, of course. Would I want to do it
Right.
again? Of course, I would want to do it. Of course, I would want to play different characters. फिर मतलब क्या फर्क है, वही अपने बाल ऊपर करके और कोरे चिट्टे बन के बॉडी बना के अगर आपने वो रोल्स कर लिए. I don't want to do that. But I would
You don't
want to
want to do that.
I would love to do that also, but I'll approach it as a character. I'll
You
approach it
don't want to
as a
just
hero.
stick to that.
मतलब I'll approach it as a character. I'll not approach it as a body
Character.
बना के hero बन गए कि आए कैसे 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 hi. I can't do that, but do I only want
Right.
to do it? No. I would love to do a part जो एक लाइन बोल के जाता है लेकिन फिल्म के एंड में आप उसके बारे में
Right.
सोचते
That impact.
my aspirate मतलब मेरा फेवरेट एक्टर बमन ईरानी है यार. I love बमन
yes.
ईरानी.
Yes,
मतलब
absolutely.
that's the kind of range I would. But 10 साल के बाद when I look back, I want to see myself as 10 different characters which created a mark. So
Right.
yes, I mean, given a chance, I would love to play a hero, but I'll approach it as a character
and not a hero per se.
not a hero. Yes.
Absolutely. And okay, I'll ask you this more on a personal note for you. Between radio jockey and acting, what do you prefer more?
Radio any day.
Radio, अभी भी?
Any day. बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स हैं एक्टिंग में ना. व्हेन यू आर प्लेइंग एन एसके सर और अ चंदर और अ रॉक्सी, you are not yourself. You bring in some element of you in those characters, but you are not yourself. On radio you are yourself, so people
Right.
love you for who you are, you know.
Who you are.
You don't, there is no pretense, there is no fakeness. It's just as real as it gets. And
But is
um,
it true that radio jockeys, matlab, you never end up like, playing a part? It's always very genuine. Or is that
most
for
of
you?
us, no, not all, of course, not all. A lot of people are playing parts and they're doing it pretty well, because उतना
Hmm.
fake करना रोज 4 घंटे बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है.
हाँ.
Every day, you know, if you have to
हाँ.
fake it every day 4 घंटे बैठ
Hmm.
के, मतलब बहुत टफ है भाई. इतना स्ट्रगल लाइफ में मांगता नहीं है. But I think it's
Right.
it's easier. It's That was the first thing I wanted to do after
Hmm.
I failed to become an army officer. That was the second thing which happened to
I
my
mean,
life.
you have a range of stuff though. Like as a
Yeah.
personality, you had a range of experiences.
Yeah. But it comes from my background, I think. Army
Hmm.
kids, so अलग अलग जगहों
Hmm.
पे पले बड़े, अलग अलग तरह के लोगों से
Hmm.
मिले. रेडियो की वजह से एक्टर बनने से पहले I've met a lot of actors, a lot of directors, producers. I've interviewed them, asked them weirdest of questions, being
Hmm.
with them, because radio interviews are very different from a press conference. You know, in a radio interview,
Right.
it's a very, yeah, you have these actors in a room and it's a one-on-one conversation. So it has been
Hmm.
very interesting. The radio has taught me a lot, I think, shifting gears, how to
Right.
talk to who, what to say, what not to say, the do's and don'ts,
Right.
all of that, I think. And it comes from journalism. You know, you would know uh,
Right.
how we are trained, and you know,
Hmm.
the training is on the job primarily. So
Absolutely.
हाँ यार,
Hmm.
उसकी वजह से काफी काफी आसान हो जाती है चीजें. अभी भी जब इंटरव्यू दे रहे होते हो तो
Hmm.
आपको समझ में आता है कि अच्छा, ये वाले सवाल पूछने से मजा आता है. ऐसे इंटरव्यूज में फील आती है. So it's
You know exactly how to treat each question.
हाँ, मतलब I've been on that side.
That's a good
I
thing. Hmm.
so it becomes
You've been
easier,
on the
I
other
think.
side, exactly.
Yeah, so it
Hmm.
becomes easier for an actor like me. And I always say that I'm not an actor. I'm doing acting, but I'm um, if you talk about my work, I'm primarily a radio jockey who just
Hmm.
got lucky and became an actor. सब लोग बोलते हैं
Hmm.
आयुष भाई के साथ हम लोग बड़ा अपने आप को कंपेयर करते थे जब हम रेडियो करते थे ना उस टाइम पर, क्योंकि
हाँ.
आयुष भाई एक्टर बन गए
हाँ.
थे. हम रेडियो करते थे लाइक यार, ये जो है ना आयुष्मान खुराना, ओ ये ऐसा कुछ कर देगा लाइक. तो अभी भी जब वो मिलते हैं तो वो हमेशा रेडियो
I
का
mean,
एक,
honestly, even he has always stuck to these, out of the box roles. I
yeah.
think for people like you, it's more about creativity and content
Arey, I
than
was in
sticking to the
first year
formula.
college
Hmm.
in 2006. So with
Hmm.
Big F, he used to be with Big FM Delhi,
Hmm.
and I was in college, and there was some contest, some RJ hunt, and I was amongst the top three. So that was
Hmm.
the first time I met Ayushman Khurrana. And
Right.
every time we meet, even now, I always quote that incident. कि आयुष भाई आपको याद है पहली बार हम वहां मिले
Hmm.
थे. तो यार वो होता ही है
I
कि एक
mean,
बंदा अगर
that
आपके
this is
उससे
a great
निकलता है
thing,
तो
though.
you always look up to him and you ऐसा लगता है कि you know, you if you do something like this one day,
Hmm.
तो अब वो dream has become a reality. थोड़े थोड़े सपने सच हो रहे हैं तो अच्छा लग रहा है.
See, exactly. I was just gonna say, I'm like, are you just projecting it as a dream? Because I think you've already started your journey. Come on.
Yeah.
You've already done it there. You've started, and what is important here is once you have a foot in the door, it's of course definitely it's on you to have
अरे
like it's
डोर
your
अंदर से
own
धक्का
journey
बहुत
up
लोग दे
there.
रहे हैं
But
यार,
even
फुट
then,
इन द डोर में.
oh, up foot in the door to nahi. Abhi you've crossed that threshold
नहीं, बट मैं बोल
also.
रहा हूँ ये फुट इन द डोर होता है तो अंदर से धक्का बहुत लोग दे रहे होते हैं डोर पर, तो पैर
वो
पर
तो
चोट
रहेगा,
अच्छी.
of course, of course, of course. But again, when you say अंदर से धक्का बहुत आता है, do you think that's more from the industry and less from these OTT actors?
अरे नहीं, इन टर्म्स ऑफ कंपटीशन, बिकॉज आई
It's
थिंक
there
अगर
throughout. Is
एसके
it
सर
there
मेरे
throughout?
मेरे अलावा भी 1,000 लोग लाइन में और होंगे, या चंदर प्ले करने के लिए 1,000 लोग होंगे, और रॉक्सी प्ले करने के लिए 1,000 लोग
Hmm.
होंगे, और उनमें से बहुत सारे लोग मुझसे बेटर एक्टर्स होंगे.
Hmm.
You know, so obviously that competition is there, and that's why
Is
I
there.
always say that radio gives me that comfort, that ease.
Hmm.
I'm
I
not
think you've
anxious
had
about
that
work.
wholesome training with radio to like just play the role of an actor after that.
Ah, बता नहीं, but हाँ, radio surely gives me There I'm the hero for 4 hours. I am the
Yes.
lead. I am the antagonist. I am the extra. I am the DOP. I am almost
Everything.
everyone on my show. So yeah, I think
Right.
that gives me that confidence. I'm not anxious about कि यार काम नहीं है अभी अभी कैसे करेंगे अभी
Hmm.
next project क्या होगा.
Hmm.
Not thinking about it because of radio. Yeah.
Hmm. You like to take it at your own pace.
I don't. I am competitive. If I'm doing
Hmm.
something, I have to be the best in it. There is no doubt
That
about
is
it.
when that role, like you think that role is something you would be interested in doing.
Yeah.
You
But
want to put
वैसे भी
in your
मतलब
100% in
I
that.
want to try my hands. I would want to see कि हाँ ये वाला भी करके देखते हैं, ये वाला भी कुछ करके देखते हैं. But I want to do everything? No. Do I
It's
want to
quality
be a
over
part of?
quantity for you, clearly.
हाँ मतलब एक मेरे को वो हमेशा मैं कोट करता हूँ अमित शर्मा ने मेरे को कहा था अभिलाष खर्च मत होना.
Hmm.
तो तब मेरे को समझ में नहीं आया था खर्च मत होना का मतलब क्या होता है. अब समझ में आ रहा है.
It's a
आप
very
हर फिल्म
important
का जब
point.
पार्ट बन
Yes,
जाते हैं ना,
खर्च
हाँ
मत
हर
होना.
जगह आप खड़े हुए दिख जाते हैं पोस्टर में साइड में कहीं हर जगह आप कुछ ना कुछ कर रहे होते हैं. दैट्स नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट. बिकम
Absolutely.
पार्ट ऑफ गुड स्टोरीज और गुड स्टोरीज कुछ ही बनेगी. हर स्टोरी गुड स्टोरी नहीं
Good
होती.
नहीं बनती. हाँ, absolutely.
They
It's
have
that
to be
one in probably 10 films that strikes out with the audience. Yes,
absolutely.
absolutely. I'm gonna come back to aspirants and ask you this. What about season 2? And
Should
when
happen.
when can
Must
we
happen.
expect it?
Should happen. Must happen. Should happen this year.
Happen this year? I mean,
Should
I
happen.
remember the last time I had heard you saying is first quarter or first half of this year. Can we expect it within that?
I don't know. Fingers crossed.
Fingers
सब आओ
crossed.
मिलके सब दुआ करो.
Or is this like just a surprise that you're gonna drop on us suddenly out there? Is that what you're planning? Maybe, right? See, you got in trained. You know with what mentality I am asking you this question. So you will not answer it no matter what I say or push you to.
It should happen. I'll say aspirants should happen and it should happen soon.
It will happen. We know it will happen. We're just waiting. Kab hoga. I mean,
Patience,
definitely,
perseverance,
it's a
dedication.
pleasure for us to see you on screen as SK sir, and we're waiting for the season 2 for sure. I mean,
Thank you so much.
absolutely. And well, I think this has been a lovely conversation, and honestly, it was so nice talking to you. You're very, not it's not a certificate for
Say
me
it,
at
I'm the
all, but
best.
in
Say
general,
it,
you're
say it,
known
you're
to
the
be a
best.
very humble,
Say it,
down
you're
to
the
earth
best.
person.
You're the best. Say you're the best. You're the best, Abhilash.
Oh
Say
yes,
it.
definitely. You're the best. There's no doubt there. For sure, you're the best. Well, I'm just like, I don't think I hold that kind of, I need that validation to be able to give you that certificate. I'm like, मैं best बोल दूंगी, but I don't know if my best counts for him at all. For sure. But yes, I mean, it was a lovely conversation we had, which I'm gonna wrap up with your last word as to, like I said, you've had a roller coaster of a journey, and give me one thing which has still kept you going through pandemic, through everything for that matter. Through, I mean, as an artist, it always plays in our heads that there are certain insecurities, and not everything is a high, right? We just end up seeing your highs. We don't pay attention to the lows. So yes, what is it that has kept you going? And you are allowed
First
to
of all,
mimic somebody or say it in whatever quirky way you want to.
I just realized that this interview can be called SK calling SK. You're also SK.
Oh yes, yes, that's a great one. For sure, SK talks to SK. Yes, definitely. I have got my title here, right here. Perfect.
But what kept me going? I think it's just I don't think too much about it. I've been in and out of hospitals since 2018 till last year uh, s- because of my sisters, my mom, my dad. I lost my father when we were shooting for aspirants. So I don't know what I think. In a situation like this, it's easier to give up, to raise your hands and say that you're done. You just want to focus on that. But I think it comes from your family. I think my partner Anubhuti, she gives me a lot of confidence. She gives me a lot of push. She gives me a lot of. She is my sukoon, I think. So if you have your sukoon
That's
with
so
you,
sweet.
it becomes very
That,
easy
that that's
to
so sweet.
function.
Yes.
Yeah, and the support of my family that has kept me going. वो सबसे बड़ा support है यार किसी भी individual के लिए. अगर वो वहां से आपको थोड़ा आराम मिलेगा, क्योंकि परेशानियाँ तो आती जाती रहेंगी। वो कभी
Hmm.
ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आप हमेशा हम लोग हमेशा सोचते हैं जब ऐसा हो जाएगा तब हम ऐसा करेंगे। जब ये सब सही हो जाएगा तब हम ये करेंगे, वो नहीं है।
तब करेंगे।
लाइफ इज हैपनिंग राइट नाउ व्हेन यू आर इन द मिड्स ऑफ chaos, व्हेन यू आर गोइंग क्रेजी, लाइफ इज इवन हैपनिंग देन।
Then,
सो just करते रहो यार, काम करते रहो और बी ओपन टू आइडियाज एंड थॉट्स। आई थिंक दैट्स द मोस्ट
hmm.
इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग। वी जस्ट
Right,
stop
right.
ourselves and we tell ourselves कि ये सही है, ये गलत है, ऐसा करना चाहिए, ऐसा नहीं करना चाहिए, but those are our own formulas. uh,
Hmm.
that's not how it is. Life is more than that. कितना philosophy हो गई।
I mean, yes, for sure. No matter what you might show, I'm sure there is a deep philosophical side down there for sure. And it just came out multi-talented. It can't be just one-dimensional, no?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the best.
Absolutely, your
And then
personality is
I'm the
also that
best.
way, no?
I'm the best. I'm the best.
For sure. But like you said, I was in conversation with Abhilash Thapliyal, or as he put the idea in my head, SK was in conversation with SK, and very talented, very humbled, very, very down to earth. And right now, like we got to know, a very family oriented man, rather. Avinash Thapliyal, thank you so much for joining us, and all the very best for all your future projects. I hope you get to try out as many characters as you wish to and you want to, and with like across ranges. And well, that was this episode. And till the next episode, you were watching Clarity Amidst Clutter with Sriya Kundu. Till then, bye bye. Thank you for watching.